Right now, the heavyweight division is absolutely one of the hottest divisions in all of professional boxing. And as sure as we stand here today in Manchester, England, all four of the major titles reside here in the United Kingdom. You know, in recent memory, this has got to be one of the best, or should I say, most violent times in the heavyweight division. And just announced yesterday, a new mouth-watering heavyweight clash that's going to be taking place right here in Manchester on May 2nd. So here to tell you all about it, the man that put it together, the president of Matchroom Boxing, Mr. Eddie Hearn.
Thank you, David. Stellar job as always. Part 2 of today here in Manchester, and what a fight. DILLIAN WHYTE against Alexander Povetkin for the WBC Interim World Heavyweight Championship, live and exclusive on Sky Sports box office. The response in this fight in the last 24 hours has been incredible, and we'll talk more about the fight and, of course, the importance of the heavyweight division right now, which will always be the flag bearer for the professional code. 3 months ago, all of the belts with the PBC in America, now, of course, all of those belts in Britain with Tyson Fury against Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. This man to my right, DILLIAN WHYTE, the official mandatory challenger for Tyson Fury. But will he wait? Will he take the easy fights? Absolutely not. When I sat down with him at the start of the year, I said to him, what do you want this year other than world titles? And he said, I would like maximum violence. And it scared me a lot, I won't lie. But I thought about what kind of card and what kind of fight could deliver that. And when I talked about Alexander Povetkin, DILLIAN WHYTE licked his lips. You know, 2 of the best left hookers in the sport, 2 top 10, in my opinion, top 5 heavyweights in the world right now. 2 guys who have been involved in huge nights, huge fights. 2 guys that can punch, 2 guys that have great chins, 2 guys that aren't afraid to trade, 2 guys that have consistently given fans value for money again and again. And if DILLIAN WHYTE wasn't popular enough for the kind of fights that he takes, I would like to tell fans about a text message I shared with him yesterday where I turned around and I said, I've looked at these ticket prices and they're too cheap. And he said, leave them as they are. Let's give people value for money. Let's sell this place out. And the last time we came to Manchester, you remember what DILLIAN WHYTE gave you. He gave you a fight with Derek Chisora that we will never, ever forget. We have a monstrous card coming in, including one fight, which I want to tell you about, but I'm waiting for the contract to hit my email. We will announce the full card prior to general sale, which is this Friday. Before we speak to both camps, I'm going to pass on to a guy who now has a stellar schedule in front of him, and of course 2 massive heavyweight nights and another to be added next week. Head of boxing for Sky Sports, Adam Smith.
Thanks, Eddie. I can't wait for that other fight as well, mouth-watering. But this is about the heavyweights, and the heavyweights come back to Manchester. What a fight that was between DILLIAN and Derek on the Anthony Joshua card a few years back. We've had Mike Tyson come here, of course, David Haye. It's a heavyweight city for boxing, and I think that's great from DILLIAN about the ticket prices, because let's see it absolutely rammed on May the 2nd. What a time for heavyweight boxing. Anthony Joshua reclaiming his titles out in Saudi Arabia. I was then fortunate enough to be in Vegas a couple of weeks ago for the brilliant performance from Tyson Fury to beat Deontay Wilder for the first time. So yeah, all the belts under British hands, all the titles. But let's not forget DILLIAN. You know, DILLIAN's waited very, very patiently. He's been a mandatory for a long time. He often feels he's left out, and he came into our offices in January and he said, this is my year, this is my time. I want the biggest and best fights. And listen, this guy Alexander Povetkin next to us, we know about his utter pedigree and his quality throughout. From Olympic gold medalist to reigning as a world champion. You know, only those 2 defeats to Vladimir and to Anthony Joshua. That victory over Michael Hunter again. He came over. We saw what he did to David Price. He's so aggressive. He's so exciting. I think the styles are going to gel fantastically well between DILLIAN and Alexander on May the 2nd. It's a really important fight night, particularly for DILLIAN as he moves forward. He's going to get that opportunity. And I tell you, I'll do everything I can personally to help him with that. I know there's all the talk of we're going to get the trilogy. AJ's going to fight Pulev. It's fantastic. And maybe, yeah, AJ Fury will be the biggest fight we've ever seen. But Dillian has to play a part in this. He's going to get his chance soon. And I will do everything I can, Eddie, and I hope you do too, to try and make sure he gets that, because I think he deserves it. But he's got business to take care of first on May the 2nd. It's not going to be easy. But then he never does anything easy.
Thank you, Adam. We go to Team Povetkin first of all. Max, welcome. Again, this seems like home for Alexander Povetkin. Of course, our partnership with World of Boxing. We saw the huge fight at Wembley against Anthony Joshua. You saw him defeat Hughie Fury at the O2 Arena, box on the Saudi Arabia card as well. We know you and Mr. Rybinski at World of Boxing, huge boxing fans. This is one hell of a fight.
Hi everyone, happy to be here again. Thank you to Eddie, to Matchroom Boxing, all the staff. Big pleasure to working with you. As Eddie said, we just discussed it yesterday that Sasha fought on the biggest arena in UK, so it's like a part of his history. There is nobody from the Russian fighters who fought in an 80,000 venue, so this is make his, historical person. So I want to say thank you to Dillian White to taking this fight. And not, waiting his world title shot with the easy fighters, but it will be it will be difficult fight for him, because Sasha will not lose his chance this time. So it will be a tremendous fight on the 2nd May. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Max. We go switch to the Dillian White team. Mark. Of course, another crazy fight, a real throwback fight at Dillian White. At times you must sort of think to yourself, look at all these fights that he's been involved in time and time again, and again, a massive test. Maybe one of the biggest tests of his career so far on June the 20th. May the 2nd. Huge fight for him against Alexander Povetkin. Well schooled, great amateur pedigree as well, and very dangerous.
He's very dangerous, I ain't got to tell you. You said it all yourself. He's got a very highly decorated amateur and pro career, but this is I feel this fight for Dillian is very important, and it's a one that's going to get his juices flowing. I feel that it's going to be the birth of the all-rounder, of the box fighter, the birth of a completed fighter, so to speak. So by no way or means we ain't going to underestimate. We don't underestimate anyone, but we can't even shut our eyes with Alexander Povetkin, and these guys shouldn't either. So it's going to be a proper humdinger. But I feel three ways to beat this guy, whether it's going forward or going back, or standing there and planting our feet and letting them go. But we've got to be the dominator in all them 3 areas, and I feel we get our tactics right, we do a good job on a decent human being and a great contender over the years. Yeah, for sure.
I saw Sky's promo yesterday. We were talking about the battle of the left hooks, which was a great promo. Probably 2 of the best left hookers in the division as well.
Yeah.
Both can punch, both like to stand and trade, but technically, with Alexander Povetkin, maybe one of the strongest technical fighters that Dillian has faced in his career so far.
For sure. I mean, Povetkin can smell what you're going to do. He's vastly experienced. He can control pace. But I'm very confident in my man Dillian White that it's his time now, and he will be the dominator and the man who could control pace and box fight very intelligent and dissect and diffuse all them guns he's got.
And finally, last year, nightmare year. Great to end it with the win in Saudi, even though you poured too much water into his mouth. as well. How good is it to draw a line under that? And this year feels like a real fresh start and a very exciting 2020.
Oh, it's amazing. It's you know, it was a very, very tough year for all, really. You know, especially this man here. But like you say, Saudi was a real blessing. They, you know, you guys looked after us. It was great out there, and done a wonderful job again. But this is, as I said before, this is the birth of the complete fighter in Dillian White. Yeah, it's going to be a great night.
Thank you, Mark. Sasha, welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you over the years. You have never, ever turned down a fight. You have actually so many similarities to Dillian White in that respect. Always up for challenges, always up for war. This is a fight you must be very excited about.
Я очень рад находиться в Великобритании. Я считаю, что здесь хорошая публика, сильные боксеры. Я очень рад, что буду боксировать с Уайтом, потому что это, я считаю, один из сильнейших боксеров с хорошим, сильным ударом и с хорошей техникой.
I'm very happy to be back in the UK because people are very good and very knowledgeable with regards to boxing, and I'm looking forward to my fight with Dillian. Dillian is a very strong opponent.
Alex, obviously Dillian White now, WBC interim world champion, mandatory position to Tyson Fury right now. Feels like you have everything to gain in this fight and to take those things from him.
Как вы знаете, Dillian White для него он промежуточный чемпион мира, и поэтому этот матч для него очень важный. Он очень многое может потерять, если проиграет.
Я это прекрасно понимаю. Для меня тоже это важный бой и интересный бой. Так что я отдам все силы и все сделаю, чтобы показать красивый и интересный бой.
I do understand that it is a very important fight for Dillian, but it is no less important fight for me, and I will do my best, apply all my efforts to make the match, this fight, interesting.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Alex. Dillian?
No.
This was a fight that, like I said, you licked your lips at. You wanted maximum violence in 2020. Since we announced this fight yesterday, a lot of people, you know, the fire emojis, the bomb emojis, the hand over face emojis. This is going to be an electric heavyweight fight.
Yeah, you know, Alexander Povetkin's a great fighter. You know, top amateur, won loads of amateur medal, Olympic gold medalist, former WBA world champion. You know, he's only lost to two reigning champions at the time, obviously Klitschko and Joshua. Shows he can take a punch, he shows he can give a punch, you know, against Klitschko. Klitschko hit him with everything, couldn't put him away. And early doors he had Joshua and problems as well, you know, it just showed. Still got a lot left, started off slow against Hunter, but then came back strong in the fight, you know. And I remember watching him fight Cedric Boswell when I had like about 3 or 1 fight or something. I remember watching him smashing Cedric Boswell to bits, and I seen Rahman, and I was like, wow, this guy is serious. And then now, you know, it's my time to bring some maximum violence to him. Funny, real boxing, eh?
I think that obviously you want to be in those big fights. You want to give fans value for money and entertainment, but you seem to also want to test yourself against quality fighters. Same question to you that I said to Mark. This guy's got some serious pedigree. Maybe one of the most technically sound and well-schooled fighters you faced so far.
You know, unfortunately, I never had a long amateur career. I had 7 amateur fights. Everyone seemed to forget 28 professional fights. So for me, this is learning for me. This is learning. I'm just fighting these guys and learning. You know, he's been through the mill. He's seen every style, faced every style. I haven't. I'm still learning. I'm learning the job, obviously. I'm in the deep end swimming. So for me to fight these kind of guys is a massive learning opportunity for me. And listen, I believe I beat them all anyway. I just got to be in shape, you know. As long as I leave the kicks alone, I'm good. So, you know.
Obviously, going into this fight, you are now the official mandatory challenger to Tyson Fury. We've talked about that, the weight, etc. But how important is it to keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on this? Because you've been waiting for such a long time. You should have had your shot by now, but slipping up now means that it all evaporates anyway.
You know, with me, I would go one fight at a time. I know all this stuff is floating around in the background, but Povetkin's a dangerous guy. You can never afford to overlook him. I'm not thinking about Tyson Fury, what's happening with him. I'm just thinking about Alexander Povetkin, you know, because he's dangerous and he's gonna want to come and fight and leave it all on the line. That's just in his DNA. It's one thing me and him is very similar in. When I look at him, I say we're very similar in that mindset of we'll come and we'll give it all, man. So I'm just focusing. I don't care about, you know, we'll see what happens on May 3rd. We'll have a chat about Tyson Fury and that. But for now, I'll put it on the back burner and just focus on Alexander Povetkin for the next 8 weeks.
And finally, a change of scenery for your big fights. Of course, Saudi last time, but before that, I think 3 fights consecutively at the O2 with Chisora, Rivas and Joseph Parker. Now back to Manchester. Great memories here. In fact, I think last time we did a press conference in Manchester, we were ducking tables and stuff like that. A little bit more here. We've bolted this one
I should
down.
throw one as a
But
joke.
a great fight city. And, you know, when we looked at the venues and availability, and I told you about Manchester, you like the idea of boxing up here for fight fans.
I think to be a great heavyweight champion, you need to be comfortable fighting anywhere in the world, any venue up and down. You know, I've been on the road most of my career, fought in America, fought in Saudi, I fought in Hull, I fought all up and down, you know what I mean? So I don't get comfortable in one place because you never know when the opportunity. At one stage I thought maybe I have to go to America and fight Wilder. So I just try to be comfortable in different situations and try not to just think, oh yeah, I want to be at O2. And, you know, you have to travel around and say your fans, different fans can see you and meet you at these presses and these weigh-ins and stuff. So yeah, you know, Manchester is a great city, famous for good fights. And last time I was here, I fought up my skin, so I might have to do the same thing again come May 2nd. And it is what it is. I'm ready. You know, I'm in a much better place now, physically and mentally. I've been training's gone well, you know, and it's time for me to show the world what I can do once again.
Thank you, Dillian. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Max, Adam, and Mark as well. This fight, incredible fight. Dillian White against Alexander Povetkin, WBC Interim World Heavyweight Championship, May 2nd, Manchester Arena, Sky Sports box office. Tickets will go on pre-sale tomorrow through Matchroom Boxing Fight Pass at 10 a.m. and on Friday at 10 a.m. as well. A great card with some great World Championship action and big fights as well to be announced before pre-sale on Friday. We look forward to a great night and thank you two, for taking this fight and giving fans a real treat on May the 2nd. We're going to have a head-to-head now and both guys are available to the media. Thank you.
Respect.